Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint Autumn Roadway. I'm going to show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been in chat for our live show tonight, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. All right, so I'm using a 9 by 12 inch canvas panel today. This is the Belgian linen panel from Fredrix. And I haven't done anything to it. It's just prepared with gesso. So they've already done that for me, so I can go straight on there and paint. I'm going to be using a few of my brushes from Princeton here. I've got a 10 angle, a 6 angle, 8 bright, and a 2 flat. These will be for some of the foliage for blocking in some of the colors, and then these will be for the roadway mostly. And then I grabbed basically all of my Deerfoot stipplers because I figure we're going to be doing a lot of stippling tonight, so I just grabbed a variety of sizes and just use what you've got. I've got, I think, 3/8 inch down to 1/4 inch here. In all kinds of different sizes there, and it'll just help me work faster, not to have to clean them out in between colors, which most of them are yellow, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. I might not need all of them, but and then I've also got my little Willows blenders here, the 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch Willows blenders for some of the smaller details down around the bottom and maybe some of the edges of the trees, and then a fan brush for some of the grasses, and a angle shader for some of the tree trunks. So I think that'll probably do us. We've got a lot of brushes out there. Seems like a lot more than you won't need that many. Promise. I just grabbed all of mine. And then if you've got one, a sea sponge will kind of help speed things along as well. All right.
We're going to need brush cam before too long.
I know we will. That's a lot of brushes. I've got they're Deerfoot stipplers, and then I've got a couple of the round blenders as well. So they're kind of the same material. They're just round instead of angled. All right, I'm going to go over my colors here. They're all kind of spread out because I used so many yellows tonight. Use what you've got. If you don't have these exact colors, don't worry about it. I'm just threw out all of my yellows basically. So here's Dioxazine Purple, Carbon Black, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Orange, Burnt Orange, Yellow Oxide, Cadmium Orange, let's see, Indian Yellow Hue. They are Cadmium Yellow, Deep, Medium, and Light. Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Quinacridone Magenta, which I'm not sure if we're going to need that or not, or the Cadmium Red Medium. So those, you might save those and see if I used them. Skip to the end, see if I used them. I'm not sure. Then Cadmium Red Light and Titanium White and Unbleached Titanium. So those are our colors. We'll see how it goes. I have not painted this before, so we're just going to be painting it on the go here, as we normally do. Yeah, so be interesting. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I kind of prepped my canvas. I'm noticing, though, I think that I got my perspective a little bit off. I think I need to bring this bottom roadway up just a smidge. So let's do that. That's kind of where I started with this drawing here. It's, let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit higher. Like maybe in here. That's what's kind of throwing me off, I think. Somewhere in here. So I'm going to start there. It's about 2 inches above the bottom of the canvas, maybe a quarter at the bottom quarter of the canvas. So actually I could probably, yeah, it's probably right up in here. That's where I was making me feel like it wasn't quite right. Yeah. And then this is much more foreshortened because it's farther away. So this curves in like this, goes all the way to this corner right here, this roadway right here. Does a little hook. It almost goes straight towards, let's see, where would it be pointing? Maybe towards the halfway mark right there. Some sort of that angle there. And then right when it gets almost to that line, it's going to just hook right back in like that. And then this one on this side is going to go from that line and just kind of do a wedge right here and straighten it out. So this last like inch or so is almost straight down towards us. And then it curves in sharply and towards that line there. And then our greenery is going to be kind of starting here. So we can go ahead and put that line all the way out. And then the dividing line there is right kind of on either side of the middle mark. So you're going to kind of split the difference there. It'll end right about in the middle. So you're going to end right about there. And it kind of comes out and it's going to kind of follow the, you can kind of look at these lines. It's going to follow that curve pretty much. So just like that. And it's more to this side. This thing is smaller than this one's widened just because of the perspective. It's a little bit wider. I did not have time to pre-draw this, so we are getting the slow draw version here. Sorry.
Slow draw.
I'm not a particularly fast drawer.
So real quick, if people want to own all the brushes,
Yes.
there's a link down below to the brush guys.
Yes. Yes.
And you have a list of recommended brushes, right?
I do. On their website, there's a list.
Is there like a starter set
Teacher
or anything?
recommended. Yes, there's a starter set of, I think it's 12, maybe? I'm not sure. I think there's a little bit more of a curve there. Yeah, so they did I think it's $50, and it's got all the basic brushes that you'll need. I think it's got one of the Deerfoot stipplers in there, and maybe a Willow's blender, I think, and then the angle brushes that I use often, and one of the large flat bristles, brights, and a filbert, I think, and maybe a fan brush. I can't remember. There's several different really good brushes in there, so definitely kind of get you started. And they're all the really good Princeton brushes. I don't know. I feel like I have found myself, and I recommend to my students that they buy the better brushes. But it's better to have fewer brushes and better brushes. You can do more with a good brush than you can with the bad brush. So, it doesn't matter how many of these angle brushes I have and what different sizes. If I had, 5 different sizes of this angle brush, but none of them performed really well, it wouldn't really matter how many I had. So one good angle brush is going to make up for, 5 bad ones and be way better, easier to use. Yeah, so I figure buy qualities with your brushes and just take good care of them, clean them, wash them really well after every use, and you'll be fine.
And there's a code, 5% off using Angela
yes.
Fine Art.
Sorry, Marksman, trying to...
Well, just
Yeah, no, I'm glad you
save
remembered
some
to say
money.
that.
Angela
Yeah,
Fine
save
Art,
some money, exactly.
all one word. There's a link right down below the video.
Angela Fine Art.
All
Yep.
right, back to the show.
Yeah, brushguys.com. Yep. Okay, so right above that line then, and to just below it's not quite on the quarter or on the third, but close to it. So right kind of almost on the third is the top of the road where it kind of goes into shadow. So this part's kind of shadowed. So if you kind of find that mark, it's right in here somewhere. You can see a little bit of the road kind of coming up from it, but and then it goes into these trees that are right here. So there's a little tiny angle that comes off right above where this curve is, and it comes up and around like that. And then the dividing line is gonna, I think I put it too far that way too. Maybe, yeah. Be like right in here. And then it dips down. There's like a little dip here. We're not seeing the whole line. So it disappears right about here, but we can kind of figure it's going back up and around like that. And then this is coming out this way. An angle, and then right as it comes around, it's kind of ending off here. And there is going to be kind of a a line there. So kind of does like that. All right, and then the greenery is going to be coming up and over like that. Got some tree. And then this area here is really important because this is kind of our vanishing point area. So we want to get these trees' height really low. They're almost the height of this right here. They're just a little bit higher than that. So they're right in here. And there's only a couple of them. And then right about where this comes up, right there, there's going to be our first kind of cutoff. And it comes up to about the top third right there. And then right from the top, right from the inside of that, we're going to have this big old tree here, cutting off this whole area here. So there's just like a little bit of greenery that comes in, a little bit, some bushes, low bushes, tree there. And then I'm not doing the tree trunks really, but there's going to be some greenery kind of, or some bushes and things around the sides of the road, kind of low. And then in here, there's some bushes and things. And it starts right about here, right about where this flattens off here. We're going to start seeing tree trunks coming up this way. And it's going to cut off at an angle this way, an angle up, and fill in this gap right here. So this is all going to be tree, yellow trees, and then it angles back this way. So you should end up with kind of a pie shape wedge right here where dark trees are going to come in. And we can bring these in just a little bit more. Okay, so we need to make that really dark right there. And then these will be our lighter trees on either side. And then there's going to be another set of trees that are in our foreground that are going to cut off this area right in here. Kind of come in at an angle. And then these ones are kind of growing up right. And they're mostly kind of all just bunched together. There's a few, but it's mostly just tree trunks and a little bit of low branches and some grass and stuff right there. Okay, and then on this side, there is another like large foreground tree right in here that's going to cut off this area, and it's going to come up like that. And then most of this is just kind of random greenery right there. And I say greenery, but I mean yellow trees. It's all pretty much yellow. So you can get creative with this. I would say, if you want to add some red in here, by all means do that. I think it'd look cool to have a little pops of red. So that's why I put out some reds, because I thought when we get this going, we might want to add a little bit. All right, so I'm going to start with my large angle brush here and wet it down. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. If you're new to our channel, welcome. And welcome to all our regulars who join us. We so appreciate you spending time with us on a Tuesday night. Hope you're having a good week.
Man, the brush guys are out of their beginner essential sets.
They're out of it?
Out of stock.
Ooh, we'll have to ask them
Yeah, what's up?
how long it'll be before they get some more.
You're just selling too much.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I think I've heard back from some people that have gotten in, and they thought they liked it. So.
And then somebody's asked. It's been a while, so I'm surprised that the green blocks underneath their painting are yoga blocks.
They are. They're knee blocks.
They're the only thing that we use yoga stuff for.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I've mixed up burnt umber, green, and a little bit of purple. So, all right, let's go.
Sorry. Yeah. So that's why her paintings are so zen.
You had to. You waited.
Thank you very much.
Waited for the pause.
Of course,
okay.
of course. I'm working the crowd here.
You had that. Yeah, I know. I posted that.
Oh yeah, the fortune cookies.
Fortune cookie. Yeah, we got some interesting fortune cookies this weekend. It's pretty funny. Actually, Monday. It was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Mark's was. Nobody guessed yours right.
One person got me right.
Yeah, that's true.
That.
Yeah, somebody did. Yeah, that was pretty funny. You have to go on Facebook to see. It said something about one of us being a successful in entertainment, and the other one said They were radiant.
Yeah, something about attract people with my radiant personality. That's me right
I
there.
think you took mine.
No, wait a minute. Who opened their cookie first?
That's true, I did.
You had the choice.
I did. All right, I did the dark up in here, and then I'm just using what's left of my brush here, a little bit lighter and tapping in. I'm kind of trying to be careful. Normally I would have gone in and just kind of done the whole thing dark, but because of yellow is a tricky color. It's not super opaque a lot of times. I mean, I'm using cadmiums, which are opaque, but even still, they don't really have a very, they still don't cover over other colors very well. So I'm going to be really careful and only put this dark in where I absolutely have to. And then we'll build up some dark in our trees with our browns and things and our yellow colors. So it'll be more natural looking. So put a little bit of it in here because it's dark there and it's dark down in here. It's dark kind of in between some of these trees that are, see, I probably already did too much right there, but we'll see. All right, I think that's pretty good.
So real quick, what is that green mixture there? I interrupted you when you were talking about
Phthalo green, yellow shade, burnt umber, and quinacridone or dioxazine purple.
Okay.
And pretty much equal parts of each. And maybe a little bit more green than anything else, but these two are pretty equal parts. Purple just gives it a little bit more warmth, a little bit of a cooler undertone, and it's good for pine.
So,
because these are pine trees back here.
This is something I just thought of. When you're mixing like more than two colors, do you mix like two together first and then add a third just to see how the tones go?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I did.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to do. Let me see what happens when I start out. Let's get the burnt orange and cadmium orange here. Ooh, that's a pretty color in it. That's a really pretty color. All right, so let's use that. We may have to go a little bit darker, but we'll see. I don't know. You need the dark for the contrast. So, I can't be afraid of going too dark, but I still want to leave it light enough for our yellow to be able to penetrate and be able to be in here. So we'll see. Not sure this is quite the right undercolor. It's pretty orange. Add a little bit of brown to it. I'm really just trying to see these individual trees here. Spencer needs to be quiet. Yeah, I think get some of the burnt sienna here. I'm trying to see, really there's it's really light colors behind here. We've got tree trunks that are going to be going in over the top, so I'll go ahead and kind of do this separation right in here with this color. What are you laughing at?
Somebody says, looks like your painting's on fire.
It does look like it's on fire. That's hilarious. It does.
So we changed the theme tonight.
Forest fire.
Forest fire.
Oh, please
so
no.
if that's what you're going for, stop right here. Maybe volcanoes erupting.
No.
Maybe it's
Like that show we watched. They're running away. I don't like shows that end on like when you don't know what happened. There was one this summer that was like that. And some volcanoes were erupting all over California, and they were just driving away from it, trying to get away from it, and then it ended. And you're like, really? Really? Okay. Sorry, pet peeve. Don't pet the peeves. I saw that on a meme. Thank you. Alrighty. So I think I'm gonna, let's just go with a kind of a darker yellow here. Go with the cadmium yellow deep, maybe a little bit of yellow oxide here.
I hope YouTube doesn't use this as the thumbnail.
Yeah. We're in the hot mess stage right now. This is our normal.
This is Angela's hot mess stage. This is my finished fall foliage painting.
You can see where I'm touching over that green though, and how it's not covering it at all. You know, it's going okay on top of this white canvas, but man, it is not gonna cover that green very much. So we would need several coats to do it. So we're just gonna get, mostly right now I'm just trying to get an undertone to the whole canvas. So I'm just kind of trying to lay down some color and get it as close to where we want it as possible without, you know, having to paint it all in very carefully. But what are you laughing at now?
Oh man, I'll have to take a screen grab of chat here so you can read it.
Okay. Well, it's there. I mean, it's not like.
Oh, that's true. So one of our regulars posted the comment, said that my extra hooks have arrived for my pegboard and sorted out all my paints. Mm-hmm. And then another regular said, I just read your first line and thought your hook had arrived for your artificial limb.
I can't understand your laughing too.
I know. It says that your hook had arrived for your artificial limb. Instead of your hooks for your pegboard. I don't know why that struck me funny.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll not talk so much.
No, it's fine. Alrighty. Do some dark here. Some dark down in here. Mix some of this green up. Just blending in some of the green into that. Just a little bit of it. And then there's some really dark back here. I'm just going to have to do a few coats over here. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say that you are an amazing painter if you can pull this one off.
Oh, yeah. You don't have any faith in me right now, do you?
It's not that I don't have faith. I'm just saying, you know, when you look at this, you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess this is what helps people, you know, or maybe I shouldn't say helps people, frustrates people, because they see their painting like this.
Right.
And don't realize that they're only doing the undertones and the colors that are very important to making an awesome painting.
Yes.
And they get frustrated.
Well, and I think that people skip this part.
Yeah,
I think when
true.
you're first painting, you don't realize that this is even part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to see the top colors and not see the undertones,
The depth.
and so you end up with a little bit more of a shallow, you know. Mm-hmm. It's not as deep. So I like the this color. This is purple and I don't know what, yellow and Quinacridone Magenta. And I think I might have grabbed some of that too. I'm not sure. You'll have to rewind, see what it, see what I did there. I don't remember exactly, but I like this color. I hope I can get back to it somehow. I think it was just that pink and the purple together with that yellow makes it good. But just for the side of the roads there, it's kind of a purpley tone. And this is way darker than I have it, so I'm gonna keep adding darker. This is way darker in here. And all this area here, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in beside the roadway. That whole area right there. Make sure I have it on both sides. A little bit of brown added in there. Now you can see what's happening there. This is another thing that happens to beginners a lot, is they get going and they, they're working over here and then they'll come back over here to an area where it's starting to dry and start to put more paint down. You can see the more I mess with it, the more that color is going to lift right off, and it will not stick. So you're just going to have to let it set and come back to it. And just that's pretty normal, and just going to have to let acrylics do their thing while they're drying. They don't like to be disturbed. Kind of like me when I'm reading. Okay. Mark didn't get that. He's not listening.
I'm reading chats.
Okay.
You said something about reading, which I completely blocked out.
I know. That's okay.
I mean, I'll read like short little
said it.
chats.
Huh?
I'll read like short little things like chats, but not like novels.
All right. And I'm just going to fill in the rest of this. I got some cadmium yellow deep and yellow oxide. Fill that all in there. So right now it doesn't have any kind of stippling, so that's why it looks kind of weird. Once we get, which we could do the whole painting this style. So, you could do it in these small brush strokes like I did here, and it'd be a really interesting style. In fact, I did one last fall that was kind of in that blockier brushstroke style, and I really liked it. So I'm going to use the yellow, the brighter yellow right in here to fill in some of this right in here, because it's going on that white canvas. It'll stay nice and bright. Excuse me. I am getting over this cold. I'm still like get these cough attacks out of nowhere. It's just like they sneak up on me. I think I've been keeping poor Mark awake at night because I've been waking up coughing.
It may have happened last night.
Huh?
It may have happened last night.
May have, yeah. I finally got up and left the room.
So would you call this impressionistic?
At this point it is, but it won't be when we get done. I mean, well, not as much. I feel like we're more, I tend to call my paintings painterly, not necessarily impressionistic, because I don't have that full impressionistic style. Like if we kept it with these brush strokes and a real fine like this and loose, then yeah, but I tend to go a little bit more towards the realism side, which kind of throws me off the impressionistic spectrum. Sometimes we go a little bit more, that way, but I tend to call it kind of painterly realism. You get it close to real, but still make it look like a painting. It's kind of a fine line. I love impressionism, though. I mean, I love it. I just have a hard time stopping myself from continuing on to the more realistic looking stuff. So mine always tend to go a little bit more real. All right, so for the Roadway, I'm going to use Burnt Umber and Quinacridone Magenta, or no, I'm sorry, Ultramarine Blue, pretty much equal parts, maybe a little bit more skewed on the blue side. So I'm I'm going to make up a lot of it because I'm going to use it a lot. I'm going to use it in some of the trees as well. So I want a good amount of it. And then I can see what it looks like, what kind of undertone I have. That is smack dab in the middle. There's no... It is good gray. Okay, that'll work. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the darker. And we'll just fill in our roadway here. And I'm going to go with the little bit darker tone first. And then he needs to get off whatever he's doing in there. And I just lost my, oh darn it, I lost my little, I want that, wherever that was. Somewhere in there. I don't want to have to draw that in again, so I'm going to try to fill in around the sides of that. You may have to go in there and talk to him. Yeah, I don't think he's supposed to be playing during the show anyways. Huh? Alright, get a little bit more of the lighter color here, and I'm just going to kind of highlight parts of it just to... You can see where these people have been cutting this corner too close to the middle. I don't like it when people do that. You can see the wear lines are like right on that double line. Like that's a no-no. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I had hoped to take a picture like this when I visited my parents. A couple of fall. I said I hope to have taken a picture like this when I visited my parents in the fall, but my mom was driving too fast.
She wasn't giving you time to take pictures, huh? You were driving through this kind of stuff?
Yeah, there were some sections that were kind of like this, for sure. But, you know, when you're
Jealous.
when she's driving her age and she's like 78, you figure not see much.
That was a little scary. Mark, were you in New Hampshire or Maine? New Hampshire.
So what brush you got right now?
This is the number 8 bright. So I'm trying to preserve my middle area there. And when I'm putting my brush strokes on, you can see where I'm like following that curve. So I won't have to do as much work later. They're already going to be kind of that impression in my paint where these lines are. And then I'm just going to kind of go over the top. This brush is a little bit big to do what I'm doing here, but it's working. So I'm going to... There we go. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's close. I mean, it's really, you're going to be surprised at how fast it comes together after this, I think. Because it's really, I think it's got good bones.
The fire looks a little more contained. Mm-hmm. So we're doing good.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, son. I'm going to get some of my middle yellow color here and just water it down a little bit. You can use glazing medium if you want to, but I've got these little popcorn, like little white pieces. I don't know if you can see those in there. You can see these little white spots where the paint didn't penetrate down in. So what you need to do for those is just get some thinned out paint in whatever color is kind of your main color and just dab over those areas. That wet paint will go down into the cracks, fill in all those little white spots, and then you don't have to paint the whole area that way. You just kind of dab in there and it'll kind of fill in for you. So do that. Get that, and I'm just pushing it down in there really good. But that the thinned out paint will kind of go down in there pretty quick, pretty easily. No, we don't have any more white areas. Getting some of this burnt orange. I'm gonna fill in this area here a little bit more. Pretty good. I think the moving that up helped improve the perspective quite a lot. Got it where it needed to be. Okay. Taking that out. I don't even know what I used that for. Maybe around here. I'm not sure. Clean that out. So I'm going to keep these brushes wet, and they're not fully clean. I'm going to kind of try to get as much out there. I'm going to have you get me fresh water there once I do these tree trunks, if you don't mind. That way I can have a really clean white water for my yellow trees. But I'm just leaving the brushes off to the side and keeping them damp so I can wash them later instead of leaving them in my water. That keeps this part from cracking, the paint from cracking off, because the water will seep down in here, and the core is wood on these, and the wood swells and the paint doesn't, so it cracks the paint like it's done on this one. You can see the cracks all in it. Fortunately, it hasn't started to flake off yet, but I usually tape it when it does. All right, let's see. Let's grab that one. This is my angle brush, and there's a big old honkin' tree trunk, and I'm going to use a little bit of the burnt orange, burnt umber, and purple for this tree trunk up here. Right in here. And it's pretty much straight. I'm kind of angling it just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more, I don't know, whatever. And then give it some arms off the side. I don't really see a whole lot of other arms, so use this sponge. It's a little bit damp. Get that color, and I'm just gonna kind of go in here and add some of that around that there. Okay. And I'm going to use some of this color down low here. Dark enough at all, so that needs to be really dark right there. And then there's some little bits in here. Actually, let's just go ahead and use this, see if I can get, you want this wet but not sopping, dripping wet. A little bit of that dark color down there. bit of black there. Do some really dark areas in there. It's already dark, but it's really dark in a few of those areas there. Okay, let's get some of this color right here. This is that purple brown mixture, purple and brown. And orange, burnt orange. So let's use this brush. We'll use that brown. And before I do it though, before I put those trees in, I think I'm going to go ahead and give some of these trees like some structure. So we'll go ahead and put in, let's grab some burnt umber, burnt sienna. I want to put it everywhere, but just a few spots where I want my kind of my shadow leaves to go. Mark's already like, I'm not getting any dinner. I'm glad I ate before.
Yeah, I ate. That's a smart one.
I know, I didn't. That's good. That'll motivate me to finish.
Take as long as you want.
Okay.
Do you have any brushes that you've taped?
Oh yeah, they're up there. If they're not there, they're over in that. Those are all newer.
Mm-hmm.
They're in that thing over there.
Yes.
Swing. Yeah.
So somebody had asked.
Oh, what they look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like surgical. It's masking tape. I got pretty masking
Pretty
tape
messy
though.
tape, has to be.
Yeah, it had to be pretty. Alrighty, let's. I'm finding that sponge is way too big for this to get any kind of definition. So I'm gonna move to the smaller brushes here.
I got most of it.
Sorry. Alrighty, let's see. So I'm just working back to front. So we'll just kind of continue working these back areas here. I'm getting some yellow in here. There's some kind of yellow trees kind of hiding back in here. And then there's some sort of highlights on some of these branches. I've got the 5/8 inch brush. And I'm not really going to worry too much about this back area here because it's not our focal point, so I'm not going to devote too much time to it. Get some green. Maybe a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium. Burnt umber. Green.
So while you're just painting, we'll talk about Patreon.
Okay.
So you saw Angela drawing at the beginning of the video, and if you don't trust your drawing skills, you can pick up some traceables over at patreon.com/AngelaFineArt.
Yes.
Right now, that's at the $1 level. And then there's other levels. $5 level give you access to the bonus videos, which we did flower on rocks.
Orchid. Yep.
Orchid, yeah, whatever. It's a flower.
Mm-hmm. Doing some greenery in here now.
And then also there's a $10 level. That's the same thing, but you also get access to a Facebook group where you do more tutorials, usually over like a 4-week period, 8 to 10 hours
They have
worth
their
of
own
teaching.
private tutorials once a week. Usually once a week, unless I'm sick or some
Yeah.
on vacation. Which happens.
And thank you so much for all the supporters out
I
there at
know, it's
Patreon.
been
There's
great.
over 2,000 people, and that's just amazing.
It's unbelievable.
And thank you.
All right, I mixed up more of that dark green here. Green, brown, purple, little bit of the orange here. But yes, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there, but
No, we were about
tell
done.
about what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna correct this line here, because we've got kind of this messy line. So I'm gonna go through here and bring some of the dark down over that yellow and kind of clean up that edge right there. And this brush is not giving me very good lines. I may have to switch to a smaller brush, but it's doing okay. We'll get a smaller brush when we do the yellow back over the top there. But for now, I'm just kind of trying to smooth those transition between those two areas there. And that looks pretty good. There's this color down low. So just making sure I have all these really good dark areas. If you do not have the dark, your lights will just be flat. So don't be afraid of going really dark with these. Don't be afraid. It's only paint. All right. There we go. I think we're good. I'm getting closer.
Okay, so it is looking better.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna set that aside, and that'll be my green one. What were you gonna say?
Said I will laugh if they use one of that earlier part of the video for the thumbnail.
I can't.
Do you get to
I can't
choose?
hear what you're saying.
Do you get to choose the thumbnails for the videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Before the video, it's just the reference photo, and then after, I'll usually the same day. As soon as I take a picture of the finished product, I post it over. Okay, so that was burnt. I went into that burnt sienna with the gray, a little of the unbleached titanium there. Just doing a highlight on the side of the road, a little bit brighter. Just kind of keep my brush sort of horizontal there. Just doing some light highlights right there, and then there's some grasses here. I'm tempted to do them, but I don't. I need to do the stuff in behind first. So, but I can use this color. This is pretty close to the color I want for these tree trunks. So, once I get this dark enough, yeah, that's good. I can put in my little tree trunks way down here in this dark area. Just using the tip of my brush and running these lines in here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and it's right about in here. It's right about where, just above where this kind of curves right there. There's a big old tree trunk right here. Another couple that kind of go up a little taller. This is a little bit light, so we'll darken this up, but I'm just going to go ahead and use it while I've got it on my brush. Get a little bit of that burnt umber, purple, quinacridone orange. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll do that. Those, darken them up a little bit. If they're not spreading very well, you can get a little bit of water. You get more water every now and then on your brush, because as you paint, the canvas sucks out the moisture out of your brush, and so you'll need to hydrate it. A lot of times people forget to do that, and then they end up using a lot of paint. So anytime somebody's like, I use like way more paint than you do, most of the time it'll be because you're not keeping your brush wet enough, or your paint's wet enough, or both. But you gotta have that water to keep them flowing. All right, so this comes right up, actually off the canvas, that tree there. And there's just a few branches that we're seeing, so I'm just going to kind of put a few in there. And then on the other side, use the same color. A little bitty back here. And then as they get closer to us, they're getting bigger. Pretty normal. Right. Pretty much how it works. Same thing with painting. I'm going to get a little bit more of the darker burnt umber here. And putting that tree right there. Get a friend that kind of crosses over. The little ones there, and then there's a bunch of just gonna put a bunch of random ones back in here, just a little hint of them. So I'm using a little bit of that lighter color over the top of that dark area there to kind of, probably did more than I needed to there, but that's all right. That was probably not quite right. Well, there's one way back here that we're seeing, but we're not really seeing where it starts. So I'm going to take that part off, because that doesn't go quite up there. So we can do a few of the tree trunks kind of starting back in here, and we don't really see where they're the bottom of them because they're buried way back in here, but then there's these ones here that are curved, so curving right in here. Okay, and if you prefer, you can use a liner brush for this or whatever. I mean, really, it's up to you whatever brush works best for you. I like using the angle brushes for lines because you can use them for multiple branches before you have to reload. You don't have to reload as often. That's mainly the reason. Not laziness. All right, so I need to get down here though. I don't have enough of the greenery or tree stuff down here, so I'm going to get some of this orange and
So
this moistened.
real quick there, you were using the 3/8 inch ankle brush?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Indian Yellow, Quinacridone, or Cadmium Orange, and Cadmium Red Light. I'm gonna tap in here with, I got a little bit smaller one. This is the 3/8 inch Deerfoot Stippler. There we go. This is shown up nicely against that dark color that we put in there now. So you can see why we put that dark color in there. See how pretty that looks against it. And put it in front of some of these tree trunks here. And these ones down here are pretty much orange. They've got shadows. They're not catching enough light to turn them yellow. They're probably yellow, but they're not looking yellow because they're down here in the shadow. And that's the same thing over here. There's some of them over here that are. And this color is covering really nicely. I like this color. So right about the curve of the road right here, we're going to do some bushes right here. And hopefully you've got enough of this dark area here to make it work. If you don't, you can always go back in. You can always go back in here with my brown and add a little bit of the dark color around some of these areas if I need it. What are you laughing at?
I wasn't.
No. All right, getting a little bit of the yellow oxide with the brown. Looks like it picked up a little bit of green, which I don't mind. And touching the tip of the brush down, creating some grasses down low. Some low greenery.
How low can you go?
Pretty low.
I was never that good at that.
I wasn't either. Limbo? No.
Yeah.
Nope. Not very limber.
I never came close to winning.
No, I didn't either. I was out in like the third round. Maybe second. Okay. Okay. This is, I don't know what, it's brown. Okay. Good. It's working. I still had that orangey in my brush, and I just used some of that yellow, and I think I don't even know. I think I grabbed a little bit of that Quinacridone Orange there with it. Yeah, I think that's what I did. I'm calling it Quinacridone Orange. It's Quinacridone Burnt Orange, but hopefully you caught that at the beginning. All right, so this is pretty much okay. I'm happy with it. I'm going to add just a little bit of my tree trunks over the top. Just a few of these, doesn't have to do all of them, but just a few. That'll set them back. Get that burnt orange and burnt umber. And let's see, let's get a little go. Okay. The big one right here. Actually, that may be it probably is the bottom of that one. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'm all right.
So,
I'm wheezing.
so you're not using any type of a medium tonight, right?
No, we don't really need it. We're not really thinning our paint much. We're keeping it pretty thick for this. You need it thick to cover over, do these techniques. So, all right, so let's do these. Before we get any more of this on here, we got to get this background stuff settled. So let's do the Indian yellow and some yellow oxide. Yellow oxide will just make the Indian yellow more opaque because it's kind of transparent-ish. And grabbing a little bit of that orange that we were using over here. Let's see if we can get... it's still not covering very well. Let's grab a little bit of white. White always helps make yellows more opaque. I don't want to use too much of it, but because it kind of washes them out too, but back here it'll be all right. So there we go. And trying to leave a little bit of that dark showing too, so get a little bit of my Cadmium Red Light here. Use a little bit of that in there too. These are those trees that are way in the background, so there's not a whole lot of detail with them. These ones back in here in the shadow area. And I'm using the tip of my brush now to kind of do some of the under foliage, hide those tree trunks a little bit. Okay. Get some of the Cadmium Orange and there's an area right in here that's a little bit brighter. And I can use a little bit of the green with that. Makes a really interesting color. It's good for shadows on these orange trees. Just adding a little bit of green. Makes kind of an olive color. I might go a little bit brighter. Might get a little bit of that yellow and green go up in here.
So, but what level of difficulty do we think we're at tonight?
It's the drawing, I would say, isn't too bad as long as you kind of, follow along with, the measurements I was kind of trying to sort of give you. There's a lot of layering, but it's not particularly difficult techniques. So it's just kind of whether you can get the right I'm going to get a smaller brush here. Let's say 6, maybe 5, probably 5. It's not, like I said, it's not particularly difficult composition, I don't think. I'm putting some of this green back in here in the dark areas and down below the tree trunks here. Obscure them a little bit. Make sure I kind of cover over that road a little bit. I'm going to even add a shadow there a little bit. I don't want to wait though because my shadow is going to be over the top of the finished road, so I don't want to do too much now, but I'm pretty happy with those. Right there, there's a little tiny bit of really bright yellow that's peeking through, so let me see if I can get that to cover. Get some cadmium yellow medium and white here, and I'm gonna boom, like pop a bit of really bright. That's just like there's a parting there in the trees. And then this one here, this one is all lit up right along that edge where that sunlight's kind of getting through right in there. So I've got the 1/4 inch Willow's blender here. I'm going to use some of the Indian yellow here. And it goes to shadow pretty quick. These it's kind of angled a bit, and they kind of angle in that way. And then there's a little bit of this kind of right down in here.
Is that the Willow's blender?
Willow's blender. What did I say?
I don't know. Somebody asked.
Willow's blender. Yep. Getting that burnt orange. And I'm gonna go in here and add some shadow. Get even more. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to keep on working towards the light. So I'm going to keep on kind of, there's another one down here. I'm just going to work from back to front. This smaller brush is helping with these little areas here, getting into these tighter spots here. I'm going to get some of the brighter yellow now, and like right in here. And I still didn't get quite enough of the dark up in here, so I'm going to have to add a little bit of that Quinacridone burnt orange there. Okay, and then get a little bit more of that Indian or cadmium yellow light and just touching it off right in there. Right where I want it really bright.
So is there a way to make burnt orange?
Yeah, we can get it close. It's I'll mix it here in a minute. It's burnt umber and, or not burnt, it's burnt sienna and Quinacridone Magenta with a little bit of cadmium red light is kind of the basic formula, which seems to work pretty well. So the reason why I'm using so many of these Deerfoot stipplers tonight and just kind of, moving the wet ones aside is because once they get wet, they get kind of floppy. So I'm using them dry. I'm not starting out with any water in my brushes. Same thing with these Willow's blenders, although they stay stiffer than the Willow's blender do when they get, or the Deerfoot stipplers get really soggy kind of when they're wet. They're a lot floppier than they are when they're dry. So these ones stay pretty firm all the way. Okay, so what was I asking? Oh, burnt. Okay, so there's a Quinacridone burnt orange. Here's our undertone. So let's kind of show with white what we're aiming for. That kind of reddish orange color there. That's with it white added. So we're going to use a little bit of burnt sienna to start, a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta, and then a little bit of the Cadmium Orange, Cadmium Red Light, I mean. And you can see it's not quite as dark as that in its natural state. So add a little bit more of the quinacridone, but it's not going to be quite as dark. I guess we could add a little bit of burnt umber if we wanted to get it a little darker. But let's see, let's add a little white to it and see what it looks like. So we're a little bit pink, so we can add a little bit of the, there we go. So almost identical there. Pretty close. So I would say 2 parts quinacridone, 1 part cadmium red orange, cadmium red light, and 1 to 2 parts burnt sienna. I'm not sure. Probably 2 parts because I added almost equal parts burnt sienna and quinacridone magenta, and then just like a 1 part of that, and maybe 1 part of the burnt umber just to darken it up if we need it darker. But all right, so let me see what we're doing here. Where are we at? Time is 7:20.
I'm right over here.
I need to get moving on this. Okay, getting the cadmium yellow deep. Get a little cadmium yellow medium. Some of the Indian yellow. Just trying to get kind of a golden yellow here, but a little bit on the brighter side. I'm gonna tap that along there. Start adding a little bit of that middle tone value here. And let's go ahead and use some of that quinacridone. Add a little bit to it. Underbrush. Yeah, this painting, I knew this was going to take long. I don't know why I did this on a Tuesday night. I knew this was going to, well, I thought I could get it, simplify it, but I'm not simplifying it. I'm doing it just as hard as it could be. Okay.
Have you ever watched any of your videos?
I know. I did. I just edited a bunch of them this afternoon. The ones that I did for Princeton brush videos. Those were short videos though. So I can do short videos. Is possible. I mean, I used to have to do an hour and a half with cleanup with kids, with my kids' classes. So I know it's just like I've gotten really lazy with the live shows. I can take my time. Okay, so yeah, liking that all right. Let's get some of this lemony yellow. It's gonna be really bright. Add a little bit of the white to it just to really bring it up. And I'm gonna use it right along that edge there. There we go. I'm loading pretty thick on there. If I load it thick enough with paint, then I don't have, and then I tap very, very lightly, I can get pretty good kind of chunks of paint coming off this brush.
Okay, somebody wants to know if they don't have a stiff brush, what could they use?
If you've got like a one of these kind of brushes would work, like a chip brush. A lot of people use those.
Oh, she's channeling Bob Ross right now.
Yeah, I mean, he used these all the time. You just use the corner of it. And they're like $1, you know, they're pretty cheap. So, I've used old scruffy brushes too, so you know, sometimes like an old brush will have good shape to it. You can just stipple with it. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to leave some of these dark areas here so we can, since these are all the same color. That's the thing about this one that makes it a little bit trickier, because it's basically the same color. So if you want to make it easier, then make these tree layers different colors. So just use like red in the background over here or something like that. Let me see what it looks like with a little bit of red popped in here. I didn't really add very much. Okay, there's a little bit of this down there. Oh, that's pretty good for that side, I think. Pretty close to where I want it to be. Probably need to work on that a little bit, but is that get a little bit of that quinacridone burnt orange mixed in and add some shadows in here. Okay, and then right in here in the foreground here, some really bright little dot. I'm going to really smush that out so I get good round dots out of this. See if I can get I think what I'm going to have to do is use my angle brush. Use the cadmium yellow. Deep, and then just tapping, tap, tap, tap. The tip of the brush pointing it straight down. Just fill in that area there. Okay. It's pretty. And what we can do is we can glaze, so we don't have to have it, you know, exactly perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of these bright dabs, like kind of into over the top of some of these dark areas. Add some individual leaves. Mostly just on these trees that are sort of in the foreground here. Make them look a little bit more realistic, and yeah. There we go. Okay. So we can put these as bright as we want to, and then we can glaze back over them to tone them down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do this edge with some of these like dabs. Just kind of soften up the stippled edge there. Keep them really small back in here. Burnt orange with the darker cad orange. Okay. Use a little bit of this in here too. Okay. And a little bit down here. Keep them very small. Little bitty dots. Okay, and then let's those bright yellows over here. Cad yellow light, cad yellow medium here. Grab a little bit of my come. Okay, there's Quinacridone Orange here with these orangey colors. Our lower parts of our trees here, shadowed areas. So I'm going to use a little bit of this orange with the cadmium red light right in here and do kind of highlights on our shadowed ones. Okay. Okay, there we go. And I don't know, hopefully you can see those tree trunks back in there, but you might need to add some back in because they're kind of getting disappeared all the way back there. Yeah, so let's put some of these back in here. There we go, just a few of them. All right, almost there. It's a long one for a Tuesday night. Sorry, Mark. You're a good sport. Mark's been up since 4 a.m. It's almost your bedtime. I can always tell you're a little bit less chatty on Tuesday nights. It's a little bit more worn down. Okay. So, creating these little foreground trees here with the yellow, brighter yellows. Leaving some of that dark still showing through on some of them though. It's real easy to kind of go overboard with these and then end up with just a bunch of yellow, like a sea of yellow. So I just have to kind of work slowly through here and okay, I think that's good. A little bit of white. Yeah, I'm not really liking how this is doing my little stipples there. Get a smaller brush, see if it does better for me. Get a little bit more control, that's better. A little bit smaller. I'm gonna go a little bit darker down here. Quinacridone Orange here.
So where did you find your QBO?
Where did I find it?
Yeah, did you order it online or?
Yeah, I got it online.
Okay.
Got it. I'm trying to remember. Probably a Blick.
From Blick Art Supplies.
Yes.
Okay.
Come back in here. I'm just adding some more of the darker colors back in. And I have no branches left, so I'm gonna get a smaller brush here. Just a small round here. Put in my branch back in here. Cubio and burnt umber here, and I'm adding a little bit of unbleached titanium to add a lighter tone. Okay, and then where they start and stop, I'm going to tap off those edges and maybe add some branches kind of overlapping here and there just to kind of soften them up just a little bit. Bring in some of that highlight color in toward the middle, give that middle of the tree some body, not just around the edges. I tend to do that. These ones in the middle are the ones that are kind of coming towards us, and they're catching the light too. So they gotta have some those highlights too. Okay. All right, there's a lot of nothing going on right here, so I'm gonna just try to kind of tap out some definition in those trees there. The middle value ones. Some of that kind of medium. Get some of the oranger, darker color. And get a little bit of that green, add that in. Yeah, see, like right in here, this is all quite a little bit greener than we've got it, so kind of covered up all that green area, and it's pretty light, so we're adding a little bit of the darker value back in too. We need to spend a couple more hours on this to get it right, but
Well, I'll show you where the off button is.
okay. As you go off to bed. Okay. It's, I don't know. It's getting there, but not quite there yet.
Okay, I'll say it's better than it was at the beginning.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's not saying a whole lot because it wasn't that great. So it's kind of a faint praise right there.
It's like a reverse
It's better than it was when it was worse.
force fire.
It's better than it when it was really bad. So these branches will help. Throwing in some of these tree trunks here. Break up all of the sameness. Throw in some branches coming out this way. That one's a little bit thick.
Well, I posted a picture just prior to the show on Facebook, you know, remind everybody that we're starting, and I showed them my setup, getting ready. And in the background, I had the thumbnail for the video. And somebody thought it was fried chicken. In the picture.
That's awesome. It's not, they know you well.
Yeah.
It could have been snacks.
It could have been.
It could have been snacks. It could have been 50-50. It was either snacks or or a painting. Okay. Yeah, when I was editing today, I edited in the part on Shad Noir when we named him. That was that whole part when I was using the Filbert grainier that I needed to use for the Princeton brush. I was editing today, and yeah, it's just funny. We had a good time. There were some good names in there. That was a fun video. That was a Black Horse video, if you're wondering. So we named him. If you want to see why, you have to watch. It's when I'm doing the bangs. So.
Yeah, between Justin Beefer and Chad Noir, we've had some good
We've
names.
had some good names. Justin Beefer was one of my favorites. I can't remember who came up with that. I think I did. Did I come up with? No, somebody else probably did. I don't remember. Probably wasn't me. I'm not very good at naming things. All right, so I'm kind of getting close here. Getting closer. Kind of. Okay, and let's add some of the use the fan brush to add some grass by the roadside there, and then we'll finish our road and we'll be done. It's only 12 more steps. And there's a little bit of this kind of up in here, but it's not as bright. It's more shadows, so I'm gonna this side is noticeably darker.
So I see Saturday you're continuing your pathway theme.
I am. I know. It's kind of weird how that works out.
You already got
Next
49
month is
thumbs
very
up.
dark. A lot of dark paintings, a lot of black in my paintings next month. So must be in a mood. Well, it is Halloween, so a lot of the Halloween themed stuff is dark to begin with, so that's probably why. All right, so let's get this going here. Let's finish our road. Grab that large brush again, and this one here. I've got my gray still. Thankfully, it's still wet-ish. I put out way more white than I needed. I don't know what I was thinking there, but I'm gonna. Actually, I think I'm gonna use this because it's gonna give it a little more texture. Yeah, that's good. It's a darker color.
Oh, in the in your Facebook group, the Thankful Art group, right now we're looking for suggestions for Christmas paintings.
Yes, we are.
You know, we know what Christmas means to us here in the United States. Our images and traditions and things like that, and we're looking for what are the images and traditions from your part of the world, in your country, or that may be different than ours.
Yeah.
So we got some
I
pictures.
try to kind of do a few, like Christmas around the world, sort of.
Exactly.
Just do a few that are kind of different this year. I've done most of the standards for America, so interesting to try some different stuff.
So find Angela's post there on Facebook with the blue truck with the Christmas tree and presents in the back, and post some pictures of.
Yeah, and people were asking about that one. That one is actually one that we did last year for Patreon. So
That was a
if you're
Patreon
interested,
video.
Patreon video. So. A little bit more white here. There we go. And I'm going to level that off with the shadow, so don't worry about it. This is going to be straight, but right now it's looking a little curved right there. And get that little, leaving my brushes in the water. Let's get roadside line there. There, and this one is brighter.
Almost got
Sorry.
it. It just came off quick.
It did. Okay. It's pretty thick right here. Thins out pretty quickly. Disappears around that corner. Paint's drying I sound like a smoker. Sorry. Sorry to smokers.
You've been working in the coal mine.
I have been. Okay, and that's white. So right in here is going to be like bright all the way across. Using up this white pretty quickly, so it's working out. Yeah, I didn't need the cadmium red really, or the quinacridone magenta. Didn't really use either one of those. Follow that curve there. Getting that darker color. So we need to make sure that that is kind of squared off right there. There we go. Oh man, we're so late. Not even funny. This one, you're just not even really seeing the lines. It's this side is all almost kind of same color. Not really sure why. It's probably just the trick of the light, but so I'm just gonna set this down and kind of drag it. You can get a little bit of this darker. Go back in this direction with that darker. Blend it out right there. Get some of that white. Okay. Let's use the Indian yellow and yellow oxide. A little bit of that orange for our center line. Somewhere there. May have come out a little bit farther. Yeah, it did. I do the dashes, but I'm not really being very careful about them. They get a lot longer right here. And they kind of turn yellow right in here. I think that's what is kind of cool about this one, because this kind of mimics the colors up there. The roadway kind of matches the trees. So grabbing that. Alright, getting that a little bit more of that gray, a little bit darker, just right in here.
So I found another job I'm glad I don't have.
What is that?
So I'm driving home on the highway tonight. It's 3 lanes.
Using purple here with the maybe a little bit of black. Go for it. What?
And there's a highway department truck pulled off on the breakdown lane with their lights on. And there's 2 guys standing by the truck. And suddenly both of them run out onto the highway.
Oh no.
So I'm in the right lane because I'm in a Prius. I'm smoking,
Right.
fast.
Right.
They go completely across my lane, cross the center lane,
Holy moly.
and throw some blacktop into a hole between the second and third lanes
Wow.
and run back to the
That's
truck.
their job.
Yeah, and I'm like, well,
Yeah. Next time you complain.
wow. At least I'm not trying to dodge traffic going 70, 80 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad job. Wow.
Yep. So take your time. I like my job.
Okay. Good. I do too. All right. Getting there. It's getting closer. I feel like there's something not right in here, but I think it's this curve, and this curve's too low right here. That's what it is. I need to mimic right there, so this curve came down too low. Dagnammit. So now we're gonna have to paint over it. Paint emergency. Minor catastrophe averted. There we go. Okay, let's try that again.
So, got a question. They were asking, how would they hang a canvas panel on their wall?
If you take it to a frame shop, they have open back frames. That's what you're going to want to get. If you don't want to frame it, you can use a small piece of ribbon or something on the back. Just hot glue it to the back. It's pretty easy.
I would not recommend just super gluing it to the wall.
Probably not.
Unless you don't want to ever have it come off.
Right.
Then that might be okay.
Right. Probably not. Probably not a good idea to do that.
Okay.
Good thinking, hon.
Well, just suggestions, you know.
Right. Suggestions of what not to do.
Exactly. Like you always want to paint on the white side of the canvas board.
They're both white.
The back side is white also?
Mm-hmm.
There's no words or anything on the back?
Oh, well, mine aren't. Yeah.
Mm.
I see what you're saying now. Canvas panels.
Duct tape might work, you know. Somebody suggested.
Yeah. Duct tape's bomb.
What Angela sometimes does is that she'll put them leaning against the wall on a shelf or something.
Mm-hmm. I do. I have, get that little, yeah, no, I'll get it. I have a bunch of these. Of course, they don't hang, but I have a bunch of little easels like this that I use to prop up the canvas panels on. Just want to make, they actually work really well with the canvas panels. So they don't work as good with regular canvases because they tend to go through, you know, unless they're the right width. But all right, I am need to get this painting done. Let me get a little bit more white here. I just put my brush down with wet paint in it. Not good. They're really, really bright up here. Need to brighten that up a little bit before I put those shadows in. Okay, then I'm going to use this brush and get some brown, black, purple. Water it down a little bit. Put in my shadows across the roadway. But here it's going to be really dark. This is where we want to make sure we're kind of getting it leveled off right there. These are all going to go kind of horizontally. They almost come to the middle line there. Some of them are darker than others. I mean, they're almost black, so be afraid of going pretty dark. But I did notice that on this side here that you could still see a little bit of that white line through, so I was just trying to make sure that I could still see a little bit of the white line through, but there's all these shadows all through here. On our road. And then across right there. This one's really important because it's going to kind of camouflage the line of that road there. And these ones are going to come in just a little bit on this side. Right here. This is where we can kind of stipple in some of this dark if it's not dark enough right there. Some shadows right in here. I'm really just glazing right now. Glazing some shadows right there. What?
Nice shadows.
Thanks.
Shadows add a lot to it.
Mm-hmm. They do. Okay. Just going to glaze some right in there. Darken up that area right there. And then if you want to, you can glaze a little bit in your trees too. I don't have any glazing medium out, but you should probably use it in yours. You can kind of glaze in here and kind of add, either brighten up or darken certain areas with a little bit of glaze, like we can go in here and add a tint of green. These areas. Put some value changes back in there. All right, I'm gonna stop. I could keep on going, but it's very complicated. All right, let me sign it. Let Mark go to bed. Actually, I just noticed one little thing right here. I need to.
You just noticed something?
Super chat. What?
Can't make it out. There it goes.
Super chat.
Awesome.
Yes, we had a super chat donation this evening from Judith. And no special comment, but thank you so much, Judith, for the support. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Little
Wow.
side cam disco action there. Celebrating with the bell.
Thank you so much, Judith. That's awesome. So sweet. Always
Yes.
very shocked when people donate. It's like so. It's awesome.
Yeah. Somebody sent you money through Venmo
I feel very blessed.
the other
yes.
day too. Very, 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 very blessed.
Very. Yeah. Enjoy getting to share this with you guys. So. All right, I think we're just gonna stop because I could keep on going, but it turned out all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm looking at the reference. There's a lot more oranginess, so and I think you could just go back in with just a little bit of the with the burnt orange, a little bit of orange, and just kind of wash. Add a little bit more gold to the whole thing, a little bit of that burnt orange color. Burnt orange and orange.
Now you're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's helping a little bit. Cadmium orange. Cadmium's not the best to use for glazing because it's opaque, but I'm using enough of the other and enough water. It's doing okay, I think. I don't want to do all of my super bright highlights. I'm trying to kind of keep away from the right along those edges, but yeah, this is helping. All right, you only thought you were done, honey. He knew.
Not me.
He knew. Yeah, that's helping. Just needs a little bit more orange, just overall. Especially back in here, I think. So I'm going to tone all this down. And it doesn't hurt to put it in that green area, too. Sorry. That's a really pleasant sound.
And then it was orange.
Much more orange, yes. And then we can go back in with my tip of my angle brush. Use the Cadmium Light Yellow Light. And just add back into just a little bit of the brightest yellows if I need to. That's going to help a lot. Here we go. I really loaded this paint up pretty thick on my brush here to get it to come off it pretty thick, chunky. It's the only way that I'll cover. So you're going to have to load your brush up pretty thick. That's still using a pretty light touch with it. Okay, sorry, this needed just a little bit more. I couldn't leave it. Just need a little bit more help. That'll take it over the edge right there. I'm super happy now. Just felt like it was kind of missing something. Mm-hmm. It needed that. Okay. Yellow's a tricky color. I don't know. I struggle with it too, you know, getting the trees just right. There's not a lot of value change is the problem. You know, when you have that, it's the same thing with white. You know, when you're working with white, there's not a lot of value changes when you're working on an object thing that's in these lighter value colors. So you have to kind of build them up gradually and carefully.
So this is like the Stickman family reunion here. All his family.
All the sticks getting together.
Yeah.
Having some pumpkin pie. This painting makes me feel like fall, you know. It's like just screams fall. It's great colors. I could see it on a big old canvas. It'd be really neat. Hopefully, if you guys share or paint this, be sure you share it with me on social media. I love to see what you're doing for my tutorials. It's awesome. And we usually try to pick at least one to share in my weekly newsletter too. So if you want to get those, see what other people are doing and see what we've got coming up on our channel and things like that, you can go to my website, thinkballer.com, and check that out. So, yep, there we go. There it is. Okay. Done. Phew. That was a long one. Thanks for hanging in with me. And, yep, we will. Well, we used all but 3 brushes, so there you go. We needed them. Go ahead and take that off there, and so they can, yeah, there we go. All right, guys, thanks for watching tonight. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back on Saturday with another painting. We're going to be doing an Ocean Pier, so hopefully that'll be a fun one. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.